So what's up, y'all? I'm Morton Joe 245 here today. We're taking a look at Leonardo and Rocksteady, so stay tuned. Okay, so if you remember, I done a short, I think yesterday, of my Ninja Turtle stuff, then I'm going to review soon. So today I decided, take a little bit of a break from, NECA stuff, because I've been doing a lot of NECA stuff here lately, so we're going to take a look at some, Ninja Turtle stuff, and that's what I chose for today, because, it was, pretty easy accessible, and the box was pretty accessible too, because it was in there with all my Ninja Turtle stuff, so I actually had the box to show you, which is kind of rare for me because a lot of times it's always hard for me to show boxes because they're a lot of them are in storage and I don't know exactly where they're at and I don't have time to go down there and pull a whole bunch of stuff out and look for them, So that's why I don't always show the box. But this one was, like I said, was with my Ninja Turtle stuff, so it was pretty easy for me to get it out. So as always, let's start with the accessories. We'll probably start with the box first, but let's start with the box. So the box here, as you can see, is where both of the figures would have been housed and their accessories. And this box is kind of tall, so it's hard for me to show the whole thing on camera at once. But then you see there's the top where it says Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's the old school logo from the late 80s, early 90s. As you can see, there's a portrait of Leonardo on one side and Rocksteady on the other side. Now these figures were actually released separately when they first came out, and they started releasing these in 2-packs. So these are the later re-releases in the 2-packs here. So you can see on one side there's a brick pattern, and I think it's the same thing on each side. So there's a continuation of Rocksteady's portrait, and Leo's doesn't continue on that side because Leo's is just right here. See, it says the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at the top there. Get around to the back side, it shows you some other figures that are also available. I have the Michelangelo and Bebop too, which I'll review that next. There's also Raphael and the Triceraton, which I don't have, which I might get, and also Donatello and the Shredder, which I'll probably get. It's kind of odd. You would think they would put Leonardo and the Shredder together, being both being the ringleaders of each side, but they chose to put Leo and Rocksteady together, which I thought was kind of weird, but still pretty cool. And I'm glad because Rocksteady is actually one of my favorite characters. So and there's not much more at the bottom there except the TMNT logo and some stuff right there. So enough about the packaging, so let's get on to the accessories. So starting with Leonardo first, here is his base, which it looks like a sewer cap, like you would see in a city over a sewer, and it says they got the TMNT logo on it, the original logo says Leonardo on the base there, and it's not really much to it. It's just kind of a silver color. It's got 2 foot pegs where you would peg the figure's feet onto. Like if I get Leo here, his peg holes at the bottom of his feet, and you stick the peg into the hole. Like so, if you don't miss it, there you go. As you can see, which actually fits on there pretty snugly and keeps them up, as you see in the beginning of the video. So that's the figure base. Leonardo also comes with his twin katanas and his 2 sheaths. Both swords can be removed, which both swords are the same, which are a little bit warped because they were kind of warped like that in the package. Because the sheaths are made of like a soft rubbery material, so they get kind of warped in the package. And which I have these not on them when you store it up, because the shell bends them even more than they already are. So it's not a very smart idea. Which you see they fit in there pretty snugly, as you can see. And see there's a blue strap holding the 2 sheaths together, and the sheaths themselves are brown, and the sword themselves are mostly all gray plastic, except for the handle, which has got a blue wrap on it. This one's got a little bit of a stress mark, only where it's been warped a little bit. Which both swords are the same, as you can see. Now this whole thing can plug onto Leonardo's back, and see there's a hole there for this whole thing to plug into. So it helps kind of complete the overall look of Leonardo. Now for Rocksteady accessories, Rocksteady actually comes with a few more accessories than Leonardo, which honestly comes with the same style base, which is the same thing, but instead of Leonardo, it says Rocksteady at the bottom because this is base for Rocksteady. But so it's the exact same as Leonardo's base, just a different name. So I'm not gonna go into all those details like I did on the other one. Rocksteady also comes with his helmet, which he's got cutouts for his ears there, as you can see, and it's all green. There's no paint on it. There's goggles right there, and now you can put this on his head like so, but it's kind of loose, as you can see. That's why I usually keep the rubber band that came in the package around his ears there, as you can see, because that, if we can get it to go around, there you go. That helps keep the helmet in place. And it's not too noticeable when you got it on display. Like I said, it helps keep his helmet on. It don't fall off his head constantly. He comes with a sword. I don't know if it's supposed to be like a modern like katana sword or a machete. It's shorter, I think, than Leonardo, so it could be like a katana styled machete, as you can see. So it's got like a serrated edge right here. Unlike Leonardo's, so there's no paint detail on the handle or nothing, which it kind of sucks, but still a pretty cool accessory. And he can hold this in either one of his hands. I should have done Leonardo's too, but I didn't think about it. But as you can see, he can hold it. He gets a pretty okay grip on it. You see, I mean, it's not going to fall out of his hand or nothing, but you can see it's a little bit loose. But he looks pretty, pretty cool holding this accessory. So lastly, he comes with a big machine gun, which this is supposed to be based off the the M60, which is a big American machine gun, a light MG. You see, it's got a bipod where you can mount it on the ground, but it's hard to get Rocksteady in a convincing pose to fire this mount it on the ground because of his his head articulation stuff. We'll go over that here in a minute, but as you can see, it's all gray plastic. There's no paint detail on here, but as you can see, the barrel and the foregrip and stuff, it's very M60 looking, and it's got like a foregrip here at the handle too, but with his articulation, it's kind of hard to get this in a two-handed pose while firing this. But Rocksteady's supposed to be big and strong, so he's supposed to be able to hold this thing one-handed like Rambo. But pretty cool accessory. He can hold this pretty well, actually. See if I don't miss his hand there. And as you can see, there is Rocksteady holding it, which you can't really get him in a good two-handed pose. You can get his hand onto the handle, but you can't really get him in a good firing pose, as you can see. I mean, you can't get him to shoulder this or that, but it still looks pretty cool if you just have him walking like around, holding it like this. That looks pretty cool, actually. So for articulation, these figures actually have pretty good articulation. They Leonardo's got a ball joint at the head there, which again actually pop the head off too. He's got a hinge and swivel at his shoulder, a hinge at his bicep there. He's got a double hinge at the elbow, some wrist articulation. All of his fingers are individually articulated, including his thumb, which can swivel in and out, as you can see. He's also got some pretty good ab articulation there. There's none at the waist there, but he's got a pretty good thigh articulation, and also a thigh cut right there. He's got a double jointed knee, which gives you pretty good articulation. He's got articulated ankles, and also each individual toe he's got here are articulated. Now Rocksteady, on the other hand, has very similar articulation. I'm not going to go through every point on him because it's very similar. The only difference I could see is that one thing, the fingers aren't articulated like Leonardo, and also he's only got a boot cut right here, since Rocksteady is wearing footwear, so I mean you can't articulate his foot like Leonardo, but still you got boot swivel, which is pretty cool. It'd been cool if they could have added like a hinge at his ankle there, but unfortunately they did. So let's go over the sculpt design and color of these two figures. Start with Leonardo here, and as you can see, he's got the signature blue bandana, which is for Leonardo. Now in the original comic books, they all had red, which that made them hard to distinguish the other turtles. The only way you could distinguish them was by their weapons, so that's why they started giving them different colored bandanas, and also putting their initial on the belt buckle there. But Leonardo is not really in the turtles are usually not shown wearing much clothing in their first figure. As you can see, they're practically naked almost. But you can see they got like the belts and stuff on for their ninja equipment. Like Leo's got his swords back here, which the straps go around his turtle shell. As you can see, it's the very classic style turtle shell, and his shell also goes in front right here because they are turtles. They're supposed to be mutated turtles. They're like human-like turtles, and as you can see, they also got the blue wrappings around his elbows and his wrists there, which is also like the original series. He's got the L on his belt buckle there, so this is Leonardo. That's why they done it in the original series. and his legs also have the blue knee pads on him, and he's got a very light shade of green on his skin, which I don't know if any of these have different shades of green. I can't remember. I have to go get Michelangelo and see if they got a different shade of green. But I have also have the movie version of Raphael in these. So I might review that too sometime or another. But that's basically it for Leonardo because he's not really wearing a whole lot. But now for Rocksteady, on the other hand, Rocksteady is wearing more clothes. So as you can see, he's got a his green helmet on, which I'm gonna say the rubber band helps hold it in place. But he's also got a tan tank top on, as you can see, which looks pretty cool, and shows off all his muscles. And he's got a bandolier with what looks like shotgun shells, and also a grenade on his chest, which is not a very smart thing to do, because if somebody is shooting at you and they shoot this grenade, it's going to go boom and kill you. So that's not a very smart thing to do. But in the original series, Bebop and Rocksteady were kind of dumb. They didn't really make very good decisions. So I guess you can kind of say that's a stupid decision that he made. But you see, there's also another strap going around his waist there, which is the grenade is actually hanging on. And you can see the shirt is too small for Rocksteady, so his belly's kind of hanging out right there. He's got on green pants, which this kind of contradicts the look of the character in the cartoon because he wore a different uh I think he wore like khaki colored pants, I believe. I can't remember exactly, but you can see on his left arm there's not much, but he has a band around his wrist there. This other one's got a green armband around his arm there, like a bandana or something tied around his arm, and also got another orange strap. He's got turtle shell things on the side of his legs there, which I'm not sure what them are for. I guess uh, just I don't know what they're supposed to be. But see his pants, he's got a brown belt and a brown belt buckle, and his boots are also just a flat brown. But these are supposed to be like military combat boots, and which Bebop and Rocksteady have a little more sense than the turtles actually wear shoes, because footwear is needed to protect your foot because you step on something, it could cause a lot of problems. So that's pretty smart on their part. For comparison time, here is some other versions I have of Rocksteady and Leonardo. As you see, I got two other versions of Rocksteady. That vintage one is one that's got a wind-up action feature. I can't remember what that one's called, but the one with the hammer and sickle there is the 2012 version of Rocksteady, and which that version of Rocksteady actually looked more like an actual rhinoceros. As you can see by the shape of his head, and that version is also Russian too. And he was voiced by the same guy who does the voice of Nikolai in Call of Duty, believe it or not. And now Leonardo, there I got three other Leonardos there. I actually have more Leonardos, but those are just my generic Leonardos I got there. So, because I have other different versions, like I said, I just got the basic Leonardos. Unfortunately, my vintage Leonardo from 1988's got a broken arm, but which I need to glue that back on. But unfortunately, I just haven't done it yet because they've been in storage. But so there's some comparisons there. So what do I think of the set overall? I really like this set, and I like the fact that you can get this Leonardo in a sword drawing pose, as you can see. I always thought that was really cool about this figure because that's not something that we could do with a lot of Leonardos. Some of them weren't articulated enough to actually achieve this pose, but this one is so it gets credit for that. And now Rocksteady, I like this figure too. And I wish it was a little more accurate to the cartoon, but still I still really like this figure. So if you want to see more of these, give me a thumbs up to help me a lot, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Till next time.